Okay, you ever heard of the ICC? This is an interesting story. So the ICC is the International Criminal Court. Most people have no idea what it is. It's in The Hague, which is the capital of the Netherlands. Most people don't know that. Okay, so the ICC has 123 member countries, not the United States. We have not signed on to that, nor has China, India, or Russia. We're not part of it. Those 123 countries send money to the ICC so they can investigate war crimes, crimes against humanity. That's what it's in business to do. You with me so far? Okay. So the ICC has issued arrest warrants for Bibi Netanyahu, the leader of Israel, and the Hamas leaders, and also the defense minister of Israel. These are warrants issued by The Hague in Netherlands. Now, there's no way these warrants are going to be served. If you tried to serve these warrants to Hamas, they'd shoot you in the head, all right, or torture you before they shot you in the head. So those aren't going to be served. And Netanyahu's security never going to let these people close. Now, you may remember the only real headline grabber was that the ICC prosecuted a man named Ratko Mladic, former Serbian leader, for war crimes and convicted him. And he's in prison serving life. He's 82 years old. That was the big one. You remember the Balkans War in the 90s? Okay, they grabbed this guy, this Serb. They whisked him over to Holland, which is the Netherlands, and they convicted him. That was their big gun. But now they have issued arrest warrants for Netanyahu and the Hamas guys. They also issued arrest warrants for Putin and his crew about 2 years ago. Of course, Putin, again, you try to serve a warrant in Russia on Putin, not going to work out. Okay. Now, there's a reason I'm telling you all this. So here's Biden's statement about the ICC. Let me be clear, whatever this prosecutor might imply, there's no equivalence done between Israel and Hamas. We will always stand with Israel against threats to its security. That was written for Biden. Okay. Here's Netanyahu's statement. With what audacity do you compare between the Hamas that murdered, burned, butchered, raped, and kidnapped our brothers and sisters and the IDF soldiers who are fighting a just war that is unparalleled and morality that is unmatched? Okay? Okay, so this is political. Much of the world hates Israel. As you know, far more countries hate Israel than like Israel. But it's not going to lead to anything. Here in the United States, these hardcore leftists who make up the pro-Palestinian protests now, the students have gone home, they're lifeguards and, for the summer, they have some fun, but the real hardcore remain. Yesterday at Yale, 150 Yale graduates walked out of their own graduation, insulting the president of Yale, Peter Salovey, who was speaking, and they all walked out. There's a video of it, screaming and yelling about the Palestinians. Okay, but here's what's interesting. Here's a statement by Dr. Salvi, or whatever his name is. I think it's Salovey. O'Reilly, I'm on it. Salovey. Here's his statement. Yale is committed to promoting freedom of speech and expression. As president, we do not agree on everything, but we all have a responsibility to do our part, fostering community in which we can have open, civil discussions about any topic, no matter how complex, how difficult. As members of a university committed to learning the search for truth, we can do no less. Didn't condemn the protesters to disrupting the graduation and insulting the president. We can't do that. No, that's why you have it. Okay, so we got a lot of stuff going on with this Israel-Hamas. And I think one of the best guests in the country is a guy that works for News Nation. His name is Leland Vittert. You may remember him. He worked for Fox for 10 years, and he was based in Jerusalem for much of that time. I used him on a factor. He's a good reporter, solid reporter, not an ideologue, doesn't tilt it. and I do Vittert's show on News Nation every Monday. He joins now from Washington. All right, Vittert, this is a no-spin interview, and you know what that means, all right? I don't want anything other than what I ask you, and at the end, you can make fun of me if you want, okay? First question, do you believe most Americans, in particular these protesters at Yale and other places, understand what is really happening in Israel and Gaza?
No, I don't think they necessarily understand, but in a sense, I don't think it matters because of how far in we are. And you, Bill, for a long time, and still do, talk about the fairness doctrine. Fairness is something that is inherent in America. And to be fair, 6 months into protests, if you are out there chanting things, if you don't know what they mean, that's on you. That's not up to us journalists to say, well, he may not believe that. And by that, I mean, if you're chanting from the river to the sea and you don't know that is from the Jordan River to the Mediterranean Sea, meaning we're going to wipe out Israel, well, that's on you that you don't know that.
Okay, and I think everybody, right,
that you want to wipe out Israel.
What I'm trying to get here is, if you're going to protest anything, you should understand what you're protesting.
Fair.
And you just said, in front of millions of people all over the world, that you believe most of these protesters and Americans in general, people just sitting in their living room, do not understand what is happening in this region. Why don't they understand it?
A couple of reasons. One, basic ignorance of a very complex and complicated situation. I lived there for 4 years, covered it every day, and still don't fully understand it. Two is the moral equivalence. And you talked about the International Criminal Court, which put Israel and Hamas on the same level and created a moral equivalence. And to a lesser degree, President Biden does the same thing, both in his rhetoric and in his policies. And what it comes down to, the thing to understand is there is evil, which is Hamas, which is sponsored by Iran, and there is Israel, which is not perfect. But certainly, if you have to pick between the two, and wars are binary choices, you pick between good and evil, that leaves you the choice of Israel. And I think the fundamental misunderstanding, and in a lot of ways, it's because of the media's reporting, that somehow the Palestinians are victims because of Israel, when in fact the Palestinian civilians are victims because of Hamas.
Okay. But isn't it true that there are elements in Tel Aviv who are using this war, and I think it is a just war, for revenge? They hate Palestinians, they hate Hamas, they hate everybody over there, because remember, and you know this better than anyone, from the time you are 2 or 3 years old, if you are living in Gaza or the West Bank, you are taught in school that Jewish people are the devil. Of course the Palestinians hate the Jews. Of course they do. And therefore, the Jews feel justified in hating back. Is there any validity to that argument?
I guess on the margins, there's a little validity that there is anger in the Israeli community at the fact that they've offered the Palestinians upteen zillion peace deals. They unilaterally pulled out of Gaza, and this is what they got, which is Gaza controlled by Hamas, and 70% of Gazans saying they agree and support Hamas. I've not seen any evidence of widespread, and I use that word advisingly, widespread revenge or acts outside the rules of war by the Israeli military that would somehow speak to, we're trying to cleanse the Palestinians, or we're trying to push the Palestinians out of Gaza.
It isn't so much that. It isn't a cleanse. It's a Hamas leadership hides behind civilians, okay, which you know is true. All right. Hamas has its headquarters below hospitals. It has armaments in schools. It does all of that because Hamas wants Israel to kill civilians. That's all 100% true. But the rationalization on the part of some, and I don't know the number or how many, is, well, that's too bad for the Palestinian people because they put up with Hamas. If all the Palestinians rose up and threw them out, okay, but they don't. They accept Hamas leadership. How do you punch a hole in that argument?
It's very clear. Hamas started a war with Israel. Israel not only has the right, but I think as a country, it has the obligation to defend itself and defend its citizens. And if Hamas puts Palestinian civilians, as you've just said, in the way, which they do, the only way to liberate the Palestinians, the only way to free them from the oppression and the cruelty of Hamas is to kick Hamas out and to end Hamas as a terror organization. So, yes, there are Palestinians who are going to tragically die. The question is, whose end responsibility is that? And having spent a lot of time there and interviewed these folks and been there, Hamas views Palestinians' deaths as a success. Israel views them as a necessary tragedy to protect its own people.
Okay, that's a good analysis. Do you believe that most Palestinians want to kick Hamas out?
No.
Okay,
and you point
now
out
therein lies
why.
therein lies the problem, right? Therein lies why the Allied forces leveled Dresden in Germany when they were winning, the Allies were winning, destroyed the whole town because the German people would not repudiate the Third Reich. Right?
I don't think it's a fair moral comparison, because we're not seeing Israel destroy mass towns the way the Allies did Dresden. The Allies didn't send leaflets over Dresden and say, hey, we're about to firebomb Dresden, please leave. The United States didn't send leaflets over Nagasaki and Hiroshima and say, we're about to drop nuclear bombs. The Israelis do. The Israelis not only send leaflets, they send text messages, they make phone calls. They broadcast on radio and on television, hey, this is where we're headed. If you're a civilian, leave. If you're Hamas, we're going to kill you. It's a completely different standard that the Israelis hold themselves to, a much higher one. And I think it shows the unfairness of the media.
Excellent point. I read stats today where the Israelis have allowed much humanitarian aid to flow into Gaza, which is some of it stolen by Hamas. I mean, that kind of thing. Final question. Biden and the other people, the politicians who really don't care. I mean, Biden couldn't care less about what happens in the Middle East. He just wants to get reelected. You hear two-state solution. This is Chuck Schumer's favorite expression. Two-state solution. I mean, again, simple man O'Reilly, all right? There aren't two states. There's just one, Israel. Gaza is not a state. Palestine is not a state. There's no functional government there. All there is terrorists telling people what to do. Am I wrong?
Only in that there is a two-state solution, and the second state already exists. That's the state of Jordan, which is 90% Palestinian, 10% Hashemite. If you want
but Jordan, that's not what they're talking about, though.
No, it's not what they're talking about. But
Jordan.
It is that is an option, and the other option is that Egypt takes part of Gaza.
Why is Jordan an option? So Jordan takes over Gaza and the West Bank?
You could certainly envision a situation where Gaza becomes part of Egypt and the West Bank becomes part of Egypt, or out of part of Jordan, which, by the way, it was up until 1967, and Gaza was part of Egypt up until 1967. No, nobody wants a part of it. No, Jordan wants even less.
Sympathetic. Jordan is sympathetic. Egypt doesn't want any part of this at all. All right, final question. When you were over there for 4 years, what was the most important thing that Leland Vittert learned from that stint?
Evil is real, and you have to have moral clarity when fighting it.
Okay. I earned.
Did I play by your rules, Bill? I came to your house.
I thought that was a good. We'll know tomorrow with the mail, Leland. I mean, they might make fun of your hair. That's possible. Because I do all the time. But I thought that was a pretty good interview. I thought you answered the questions very directly, and that's why I'm happy to be on your program on News Nation. You can watch Leland at 7 o'clock Eastern every day, and I hope you do. Thanks for helping us out. We'll see you on your show next week.
Sure.
Another day, another news story buried. You know the game. The media pundits would rather talk about anything instead of what's really going on. So, the truth is behind the headlines. Take back control and prepare for what will come with My Patriot Supply. Since 2008, My Patriot Supply It's helped millions of Americans get ready for the worst. Today, their best-selling 3-month emergency food kits flying out of the shelves. Get yours now at my website, preparelikebill.com. This kit offers more than 2,000 calories every day. Plus, with ultra-durable 4-layer packaging, it lasts up to 25 years. So order all the kits you need for $200 off each one, free shipping included. You've been warned about what could happen. Don't live in fear. Take back control of your future because this isn't just food, it's freedom. Stock up today at preparelikebill.com, preparelikebill.com. Smart life. Okay, I've been a little selfish just promoting my own books for Father's Day, so let's broaden it out a little bit. Dad and Granddad, if they're readers, I got some books for you. The Light of Battle, Eisenhower D-Day, The Birth of American Superpower, Michael Paradis. Taking London, my co-author Martin Dugard, that's his book. Winston Churchill and a Fight to Save Civilization, that will be out June 11th. Okay, The Shadow of War, a novel. Okay, we have naval written down here, but it's a novel of the Cuban Missile Crisis, Jeff Shara. Judgment of Tokyo, this is a good book. World War II on Trial and Making of Modern Asia, Gary Bass. They're all good books, but this one caught my attention. Okay, I Have Your Back, How an American Soldier Became an International Hero, Tom Sileo. And finally, The Unvanquished, The Untold Story of Lincoln's Special Forces, The Manhunt for Mosby's Rangers, and the Shadow War that Forged America's Special Operations, Patrick O'Donnell. That's some subtitle. Anyway, all of those are history books. And if you want to get Dad, if he's got all mine, you might consider those. Smart Life. All right, Louisiana becoming the first state to require the 10 Commandments be posted in all public schools. All right, this is Louisiana Bill HB 71. I believe that the governor will sign it, and then it will be ruled unconstitutional. Because it's already in a 1980 ruling, Supreme Court said no. But it's wrong, because the Supreme Court itself in the building has a display of the 10 Commandments. When you go to Washington and you tour the Supreme Court building, you'll see the 10 Commandments. Why? Because our entire law system is based on Judeo-Christian tradition. That's why. So we'll follow the Louisiana thing. Jeff Landry is the new governor there. He's a good guy. And we'll see where it goes. If you suffer from daily pain, I'd like you to listen carefully to this message. A safe and effective way to ease pain is taking the world by storm. Introducing 100% drug-free Conolidine. Conolidine has already helped more than 100,000 Americans beat pain. It is so effective, it was named the official pain reliever of the UFC. And those guys know about pain. Non-addictive, Conolidine optimizes your body's natural painkillers, bringing full body relief in 7 days or less, without a single documented side effect. Conolidine is the future of pain relief. Now the best part. When you go to trycono.com/bill, you can get it for less than $1 a day. You really are just days away from being pain-free. Again, just go to trycono.com/bill and see for yourself. By now you have heard me talk about Delta Rescue. They are a fantastic organization that helps rescue animals from the wilderness. You know, I'm a dog lover, so is Leo Grillo, the founder of Delta Rescue. It is his life's mission to provide everlasting care for these once abandoned animals. I myself have donated to Delta Rescue. Do you believe it is part of man's duty to care for dogs and horses, the animals that so much of our history is tied to? If so, please consider making a donation or consult your advisor about leaving a gift in your will or trust. There can be some tax advantages and it's a great way to help Delta Rescue accomplish their mission. So please visit deltarescue.org to learn more. That's deltarescue.org. All right, final thought of the day. Get a lot of mail about Holly. So she had to go back in the hospital for a tune-up. Holly had a brain tumor removed. You know, ultra serious. So I had to bring her back. I get a tune-up, clear out some of the other, what they call margins in the dog's brain. And Holly's now back home and getting great care across the board. Vets are great. You know, I'm keeping an eye on Holly and all of that. So I think Holly's going to make it. It's been very, very tough for the little dog. She's a corgi, 7 years old. You know, so that puts her about 50 years old, human years. She should be able to live another 6 unless it's a recurrence, this brain thing. But it's hard for me to sit back with anybody that is in my family or my friends and watch them suffer. And Holly has suffered. And I'm doing everything I can. And I have to stay up most of the night if I look tired because, you know, got to watch. If Holly needs anything, it's me that's got to provide it. There's no dog nurse. But Holly's a really, really good dog. And she's been a member of our family since a puppy. Got her from a breeder in Georgia and really has been a great addition to the O'Reilly family. So anyway, thank you for writing and asking about Holly. And we believe that she is going to be back 100%. Take some time. And that's life. You fight the good fight, right? Thank you for watching and listening to the No Spin News. We'll see you tomorrow. Thank you for watching the No Spin News. To watch the full episode anytime on BillO'Reilly.com, please sign up to become a premium or concierge member. Visit BillO'Reilly.com to sign up and start watching today.